Hey everyone, welcome to the Custom Apparel Startups podcast. My name is Mark Stevenson from ColDesi.
And this is Mark Vila from Coleman & Company, and today we're here to talk about beating the competition. This is the second in the series of Beat the Competition.
Wait. This is the re-episode.
The re-episode?
Yes.
This is the re-episode.
It's the re-episode.
It's about rebranding, restructuring, and reinvesting if you need to.
Yeah, it's you really have to have listened to episode 96 to get the full effect of episode 97.
Yeah, so essentially what happened is you listen to episode 96 and you're evaluating your competition. And then you kind of are realizing one of a couple things. I mean, you're learning a lot, but I think you're learning one of two things, that you're kind of alone in your niche, in your vertical market. Like, you're kind of alone. You're the only person in town that's really focusing on corporate wear or spirit wear. Or you're realizing that everyone's doing spirit wear and everyone's doing embroidery and everyone's around your price range and everyone's around your delivery time, and you realize that you're in a crowded space and maybe there's some things to do differently.
Right. And so I just want to make sure that you're not using this introduction where we talk about what happened in the last episode as a substitute for listening to the last episode and actually going through the exercise.
Yeah.
Don't assume, because that's one of the points of episode 96, was not to assume that your competition is beating you just because they exist.
Yeah.
Right? So the point of episode 96 was to identify your competition, to shop them, to learn about them, to catalog them, and then look at your own business in comparison.
It's a step-by-step.
Yeah,
it's a step-by-step, so go through them. But now we're at a point where we need to, I guess, make a decision of what we're going to do.
Yeah,
next,
you know what the real competition is, what they can do, what they can't do, and you know about your business too. So that's where we're starting.
Yeah, so what we'll say here is that if you realize that you're there's a little bit of competition in the area where you work.
Yep.
There's a few people that do some of the things that you do, which is probably most likely in a lot of cases. You're going to realize there's a couple businesses out there that might directly compete with you in some ways. There might be one that's a little bit of the most direct competitor, and then there's going to be a lot that, although they might make T-shirts or embroider as well, they don't sell to the same.
Yeah, they're not in the same world you are.
So if that's the case, we kind of say hold on tight to your business structure, keep running it the way it does, but focus on being the best in all the little categories.
Yeah, I like that a lot, because if you've already got a good business and you thought there were some great competitors in the area, you found out you're really doing pretty well. I wouldn't just give yourself a pass at that point and sit back and say, I'm done. You've done all this work. I think you can take what you've learned and really hone in on your existing business and emphasize all the areas that you should.
Yeah, and don't immediately start to change things quickly because some competition pops up, or you've done the exercise and you realize, oh wow, there's a lot of competition. I got to do something different.
Right.
Well, hold on. If you're in business and you're doing well and you're not and you're in a growth period, especially.
Yeah.
Then what you want to do is master your craft. Is the first thing we listed. Have awesome customer service. Strive to be the best in the customer service. Answer the phone good. Nice emails.
Yep.
Friendly to people. Say thank you. Deliver orders correctly and on time. Have a good system to do that. Balance the right price for the right product. It doesn't mean being the cheapest or most expensive necessarily. It just means the quality and the price is right. And then have a solid sales and marketing plan.
Yeah, I like all of those, and I especially like them because I could take this right now and apply these same steps to ColDesi.
Yeah, right.
And that's kind of, this is almost a list of a regular exercise you should be doing anyway. What else can I do to master my craft in making custom apparel? Do I have the best customer service? Fortunately, we do.
Yeah.
So we can move on. Delivering orders correctly and on time, we've got an amazing record of that. Balancing the right price for the right product, that's always something that we're looking at to make sure we're competitive in the market. We don't so much have a solid sales and marketing plan as we do some great sales and marketing things.
Okay.
That's really, to be honest with you guys, that's really the way it is. But we should have one.
Yeah, and your business should have all of these things. So the beginning point is, if you've listened to 96 and you've made some determinations that your business things are okay for you, then focus on these to continue to make them better.
Yes.
Now, on the other side, sometimes it's not that simple. That's actually the simple solution.
Yeah, you may find when you did your competitive analysis that somebody is actually kicking your butt in a specific area. You know, that you're losing business for a reason, or you may catch somebody early.
Yep.
That looks really good. Like we've done that a few times where there's somebody brand new in the market that's just doing a great job. And we're like, oh, okay, we better pay attention and maybe make an adjustment.
Yeah, and this is when it's time to get into that, the re-episode, the rebranding, restructuring, and reinvesting, is because you realize that some troubled waters could be ahead.
Yeah, and so I've got to stop here and just kind of talk about one of the stories, and we talk about stuff like this all the time, from the Facebook group. You know, recently we had a mid-sized screen printer, and I've used this example before, complain about the, he's been in business for 20, 25 years, complaining about all the people that have Crickets and home machines that is impinging on his business. Okay, this is an exercise in realization that you can't do the same thing for 25 years.
Yeah.
Like this is an exercise that you're going to have to do. What we're talking about right now is whether or not you have to do it now, not whether or not you're going to have to do it. Eventually, you're not going to be the only one doing cheer glitter vinyl on site at school events. You know, wherever you are, eventually you're going to run into somebody. Your market's going to get more crowded. They're going to open up a, you had a drugstore and they opened up a Walmart and a Walgreens. You know, you had a donut shop and they opened up another donut shop.
Yeah, and that's
right?
actually the example we kind of made some notes on. Is that, so you own, again, they've been in business a long time. You own a small donut shop. This is kind of something easy, I think,
How
to
did you know I owned a
relate
donut
to.
shop?
I Googled you.
Vegan donut shop.
Yes, you
terrible.
would do that.
It's terrible.
So you make delicious glazed donuts. You're famous for it.
Tofu donuts, yeah.
There is a ton of people come up there and just line up every morning. Every morning you got a line of people getting good coffee and good donuts. It's kind of you're the staple of the town. And then one day a new donut shop opens up, not too far from you, right down the road. You can see them. And they're in a better space. Traffic, it's easier to get in there. They've got this new automated machine, so they can produce donuts faster with less service, less work, and more people, the employees, are helping customers. So the line, although the same amount of people in there, the line's short. They can get in and out quicker. And they've got new coffee equipment, lattes twice as fast as you can produce, and it's the same quality. And then their prices are better because they can produce faster. There's less labor involved. And then finally you try the donuts, and they're really good.
Yeah.
So
Which
now,
sucks.
like, what do you do? Like, this is actual, like, you're losing money, or you see your lines are getting shorter.
Yeah.
You're making less money. And it's hard because they're beating you in everything that we listed above.
And I'll be honest, like this is common for if you're in kind of a technology business and things move very fast. So if you spent $50,000 on a screen printing setup 15 years ago, it may still work, but somebody could have spent $2,500 on a cutter and done great work that they can turn around faster. They have lower overhead, so they can charge less. So sometimes these late comers, like this new donut shop, sometimes they have a big advantage just by being late.
Yeah, by being late. This equipment didn't exist when you opened up your shop.
Right.
So this story, though, although a simple one, is true for all types of businesses.
Yes.
You've heard about the small towns with Walmarts coming in. Radio Shack used to be a huge company.
Right.
And then you pop in Best Buys and Amazon, and then it's like you don't really go there anymore.
No, you get bad cell phone plans at Radio Shack and one cable.
Yes, exactly. So you've got to figure out like what's next. Now you see that you're in trouble. So if you have an embroidery shop and you've been doing embroidery for 20 years or 10 years, and a new shop opens up and they've got newer, faster, better equipment, more employees, a better location, the prices are right, they're using the same, everything is lining up, and you're realizing this competition is real. And they're beating me in all of the, the craft Maybe their embroidery is even better than
Yeah.
yours. I mean, they could be beating you on a lot of things, and you have to figure out, what am I going to do? Now, if all of the things we listed in the beginning, your craft, your delivery time, your customer service, if those are all 3 out of 5 stars,
Yeah.
step 1 is do that.
Right.
If you feel you're already at 5 out of 5, like I feel that donut shop was, I was picturing it as they were super friendly, everything was
Yes.
great, everyone loved it. There were
Right.
5 stars across the board, but this other place was chipping away so much.
Yeah.
So now you have some choices to make, and it's rebranding, restructuring, and or reinvesting. And now we're going to talk about each one of those, what they mean, and whether or not it's going to be right for your business.
I like that. And you know how much I love branding.
Yeah.
So
That's fun.
yeah, branding is great. It's a great conversation to have. So I like the way you put it, though. It really is just the look and feel of your company.
Yeah.
So what you may do is you may look at that new donut shop across the street, and it's like one of the new McDonald's versus the old ones.
Yeah.
The new McDonald's, they look like a really nice Starbucks, right? They've got the wood paneling on the walls.
Mm-hmm.
It's this brick and glass building. It's not like the old style ones. Is your business that old style McDonald's business? Do you have the old neighborhood donut shop look and feel to your business, where the new people across the street are all shiny and 25 and shop at Abercrombie and Fitch?
Yeah, the fat hasn't been building up on
Yeah.
them.
They don't eat their donuts. They just sell them.
Well, and it's true. So when we're talking about the branding, this is when you walk into a like we have Publix grocery stores
Yes.
here, and they do this really good job of branding, which is
Amazing.
the look and the feel and the colors that you see, the smells that you experience. So, and they do all of this on purpose. So if you walk into a Publix in the morning, you're smelling fresh bread being baked, and that's on purpose.
Yep.
They could bake their bread in one location and ship it. No, they want their customers to come in there and get hit with that smell.
Yeah.
And different things like that. So the branding is all that look and feel. And if you have a shop, especially if it's one where people walk into, and there's no color scheme anywhere, it doesn't feel like anything.
Maybe you are a traditional screen printer,
Yeah.
or an old style mass embroiderer, and you're a shop,
Yeah.
but you've got a retail space, and you're used to it being okay for people to walk in and basically they're in the screen print room.
Yeah.
With the table set up. That doesn't cut it anymore, maybe. Or maybe it's the other way around, and you are an embroiderer that's got a really homey feel, that's got doilies everywhere.
Yeah.
A lot of pillows,
Yeah.
and that's not the image that you need to project.
Yeah, so you want to kind of keep up with what's going on in your branding if it's important. So meaning especially, and this could be online, just what you bring online, how you look. Even things down to like your logos is not going to make or break your business, and we've talked about that.
Right.
But if you look at companies like Pepsi, for example, and if you just Google like Pepsi logos over time, you can see how the logo has changed with the just kind of the overall theme of the world.
Right. And think about it from your own perspective as a customer. Like if you are, let's say you're picking a restaurant. So you pick a restaurant, you either drive around, you're looking for a place to eat, or you're looking at pictures online. What kind of a restaurant are you going to pick? You're going to pick one that feels like you.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. So you're not going to, if I'm going out to dinner, I'm not looking for white tablecloths and wine and some fancy guy standing there with a towel over his arm. I'm also not looking for, a McDonald's or a sub shop or something like that. People are you're going to attract people that are like you or like the image that you present. So maybe if you're seeing a shift in business and a new company is in your area that's getting more business, maybe they're appealing to a larger demographic or a more current demographic.
Yeah.
So you could just look at your space, if it's retail or if it's on the web or even how you present yourself in a market or a show. You may just look and say, you know what? I've been doing this for 10 years the same way.
Yeah.
And everyone around me is changing. The busy booth is set up differently than mine is. And that will lead you down this rebranding thing and say, you know what? I guess the blue collar embroidery business is not working as well as it used to. You know, or I guess the do-it-yourself kind of approach isn't working how it used to. People want something cleaner. Or maybe it's the other way around.
Yeah.
You know, maybe you've got the pristine business with the glass countertops and everything, and the guy that's making all the money has his printer out in the lobby and asks the customers to help him dry the shirts. You know, I don't know. I don't know what it is.
It's so dependent on who you're selling to.
Yeah.
And there are plenty of places out there who've been making, say, the T-shirts for the local high schools and middle schools and stuff like that for 20 years.
Yes.
Right, all over the country, and that have been doing that. And if a new place opens up, and there's couches for kids to sit at, maybe they have some like retro video game setups or something like that. Then all of a sudden, like, kids are going there, you know, and then when the moms and dads come in, they've got a Keurig coffee machine for them to make their own little coffee or something. And all of a sudden, it's like that's part of the branding and the feel of the environment.
Right.
And that's what I always think. There's a lot of definitions of branding, but it's really just how does it feel to interact with this company, whatever it is, whether it's just looking at a logo, reading a letter, or going to their shop.
You can kind of think about it if your business was a person.
Yeah.
What would they look like? How would they sound? How would they dress?
So here's some reasons to rebrand.
Gotcha.
Now that we've kind of covered a little bit of it already, but you're selling in too tight of a vertical or niche market, and you need to expand. So you are used to doing like small business type of. You know, you do things for all the plumbers and the AC companies and the landscaping companies in your area. And those smaller companies are becoming less and less. There's a lot more big businesses coming out there that are in your area. And they get all of their apparel from corporate, and it's hard for you to get into that account. So your market is shrinking in your area. There's more maybe large companies, less small business owners in your area. So you might need to expand your market out. Expand it to that spirit wear as well. Expand it to more corporate wear. Maybe there's maybe the small businesses are less blue collar and more white collar in your area, and maybe tech is growing in your area even, and they want nice clean polos and laptop bags and things like that, and you're still selling just plain cheap T-shirts that are throwaways.
Or I'm going to take the opposite. Let's say that your area is going more urban.
Yeah.
You know, and it turns out that rather than doing corporate work, if you were doing custom bags, custom sneakers, custom caps, then your business might grow a little bit, you know, with that rebranding effort.
So you look at that, and then you change the feel. So you know, we've made a couple of these examples. A few episodes we talked about. I think it was like a dance company trying to sell to like a hockey league or something like that. So if that's the case, you still want to sell to both. You might want to rebrand your organization to talk about like all fitness and sports.
Yeah,
type of a thing
I like
will
that.
fit everybody. So you're widening out your brand. So or you tighten your brand in. You're just going to focus on kind of that urban, cool, hip hop type of a look, and you're just going to dive in and just focus on that. So take your company from Johnny's Tees to, you know, Johnny's Urban Tees and Wears.
Yeah.
You know, something like squeeze it in. So whatever it is, if you're selling to too tight or too wide of a market, move that out and adjust the way your look and feel. And that can mean changing the name of your company.
Yeah.
It could mean just changing your logo and look and feel of how all your art works and how you answer the phone.
The samples, the sample products that you give out or that you show on your website.
And it's also when your message and your business don't match.
Yeah.
So we have some customers that have been buying from Coleman and Company for they've been buying since before Coleman and Company existed. They've been buying embroidery supplies. Now they have embroidery, DTG, and UV printing. Most of the business that they have is DTG and UV.
But it's still called like ABC embroidery.
Yeah, exactly. And then at that point in time, if somebody is looking for a UV print or custom, you know, whatever they might customize on a UV printer, toilet bowl.
Yes, toilet seats.
Yes. You know, or whatever it might be.
Popular application.
Yeah, I gather it is, you know. And they're going to be looking for you online. They're going to skip over you because it's ABC embroidery. They're going to make an assumption.
That is a great point. And so I just want to interject here that like we understand that most of you got started in this business because of a specific passion.
Yeah.
A passion for a vertical or niche market. You know, not many people go into the custom apparel business like just kind of unemotionally deciding I'm going to make custom t-shirts because it seems like the best opportunity and the most profitable thing that I can do in business right now.
Yeah.
No, they're like their kids are in cheer and they love it and they want to do bling. Or, you know, they do home embroidery and they want to expand, or they do arts and crafts and they want to do vinyl. So we understand that this is a change, but part of this process is looking at your business strictly as a business. So if you need to change the name, or you need to change the logo or your product mix, then that's a formula for success. The willingness to do that really kind of depends on whether or not you're going to be in business in 10 years.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, I was just thinking we should probably do an episode one day of the steps to doing that, the steps to changing your business from one to another. You're going to write that down?
Steps, I'm not going to be able to read it though. Changing. Hey, by the way, if you are looking at us on video, look, Mark Vila got tired of me having to write CAS on the styrofoam cup. So I actually have a CAS cup.
Yes,
Thank you very
have an
much,
official
Mr. Vila.
mug.
I appreciate it. So now mug production and close-up magic.
There you
Mark
go.
Vila's
Yes,
favorite
I
talents.
keep forgetting to bring my magic trick. I'm
Thank
gonna
you.
do it.
I appreciate that.
Okay, so then let's see. Oh, the last one was what we mentioned already, but the last one on reasons to rebrand is your style, message, your name, just is dated and amongst a sea of modern competition. So if you walk into your place and it's got old carpet, or you look at all of your Facebook posts and all the art you're doing, and you're still using stock art from 15 years ago.
If you say my website's been doing great for 10 years, then you need to change your website.
Yeah, and just shop around online, and look at what other websites look like, and you can get a feel of what the modern look is. And if yours is way off from that, and oh, by the way, this is only after you've done episode 96 as a reminder. Don't just start changing things because you think you should.
Right.
You're looking for opportunity because you're missing something, or you're losing, or there's a potential decline ahead.
Hey, you know what? Share this episode with people outside the business, outside of this business, because I literally just had lunch with the president of a company who I'm having the same conversation with.
Oh, okay.
Are you actually losing any business to competition? I assume so. Why do you assume that?
Yeah.
So don't think this is just you or just for custom apparel. Everybody goes through the same thing, and if you don't listen to episode 96, don't assume anything and make changes in episode 97.
Yeah, I agree. So now I printed a fun example here.
You did?
Yeah. So these images will be on the customapparelstartups.com.
Will they?
On episode 97.
That's awesome.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not.
No,
gonna
you
do
should.
That. I'm not going to.
I didn't know Carnation made breakfast bars.
Yeah. So you can hold it up.
I will.
I'll let you hold that one up.
Yes.
So you're in. It's kind of just the idea of old versus new branding. You're in the grocery store, and you're with you and your kid.
Yeah.
You're going to pick out some breakfast bars for them.
You are.
And you see this box, which I don't know how well you're going to see it on camera, but if you go to the website, you'll see it better because the image. And then next to it, you see this box.
Right.
And here we've got...
For some reason, they're both still in black and white, though.
Yeah, it's because I didn't use color printer.
Okay. I didn't know if that was on purpose.
No, but you can see.
If you're recommending, we just do black and white packaging.
No, and the coloring's even better on this too. But more so, this is something that's probably from the 80s.
Yeah.
The packaging, it just looks simple and bland and old and boring, and it's like if somebody saw that, how long has this been on the shelf?
And it's by a company that used to have name recognition.
Yeah.
Which is Carnation.
And then there's Jif.
Yes.
They've got this one's called Carnation Breakfast Bar, peanut butter and granola.
Yes.
Which fine, right? But you're shopping with your kid, and you want them to be just as excited to eat this breakfast bar because they don't eat anything in the morning. They only want M&Ms will be the only thing they'll eat unless you offer something
good.
But they see Jif Power Ups Chewy Granola Bar. You know,
They're
and then
in
it's got
with a cool animation.
It's got a cool animation
Yeah.
on it. This one's just got kind of a flat chocolate on top. This one, they've squiggled the chocolate all messy.
It's a great example.
It's just it's the same exact thing. I mean, basically,
Yeah. No, it is.
it's granola with some chocolate splashed on it. But the branding of this one just really took it up. And the organizations like this, you know, Jif and all these companies out there, they're constantly having to move around this grocery aisle space to capture people's attention, to look like they're new and fresh and fun and interesting. So you want to keep buying it.
Yeah.
So just take a look at your branding as well, and which is the name of your company. It's everything how you do it.
Yeah.
Even the invoices that in the sales orders and that you hand over to people, if they're really dated, maybe give it a new, fresh look.
I agree.
So
rebranding. That was rebranding.
That's rebranding. The second is restructuring.
Yes.
So simple.
And these are reasons to restructure.
Reasons to restructure. But first, what is restructuring? Just any real change with how your business operates or acts.
Right. So in the first part, we were really talking about how your business kind of looks and feels. That might be a change. Now we're on the operations side, really. That's what restructuring is.
So reasons to restructure, and then kind of the answers are almost implied. But you need to improve your sales force. You look at your competition, and they've got salespeople out there that are smart and savvy and seem to know what they're doing, and your sales force is kind of just somebody who kind of works for you sometimes part-time, and that's it. Or just somebody who hasn't done well, but they've worked for you for 5 years, and the past year and a half they've done nothing for you, but you keep them on board because you know their loyalty and I care about them and stuff like that. But you might need to restructure that. Either they need to change, or maybe you guys need to not do business together anymore.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, because if you're using actual salespeople, then it's easy for them to become complacent. It's easy for them to be the same face that people see that they've told no to for 3 years. They're still going to say no to. And you could make kind of a digital equivalent by looking at your approach to emails and social media messages.
Yeah,
as well.
And if you're the salesperson, or if it's husband-wife team,
get a
wife
mirror.
Sells, stuff like that.
That's harder.
You get a mirror, but really what you do is just like take a training course.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, read some books, take a training course, try to refresh yourself, and then you develop a new sales plan, a new sales tactic, a way that you sell, and that's a way of restructuring.
Yeah.
You reading a book and writing out a new plan and acting on it,
you're changing the way you're doing business.
You're changing the way you're doing business.
So, and I like that you say this, that you might need any salespeople.
Yeah.
So maybe you're in a business that does not have salespeople. No one else is when you did your competitive analysis. That may be a key for you that you've never done before, is to hire somebody to go and scrounge up business for you. So that's a great option for making what may be a quick change to the face of your business.
Yeah, that's great. So your production methods are inefficient.
Yep.
If you are just noticing that your shop is a mess, things that are never, you're always scrambling to be organized. Things are in piles everywhere. You're not as efficient as you can be.
Yeah.
You read online, how does somebody make 20 of these in an hour? I can only make 8. And we hear that stuff all the time, on all those sides and everything we sell. Some people are so much faster, and they have the same exact equipment.
And I've been into these businesses.
Yeah.
And I can tell you which one is faster just after I walk into the shop.
Yeah, so you can tell just by looking and acting at it. So if you feel you're inefficient, if you could tell you are, and you this again, just you got to look in the mirror on this one.
Yep.
Then you can fix that. Look how to restructure things. Maybe people that are in other businesses that could show you how they do it, even if it's not embroidery or T-shirt printing.
Yeah, and all of this stuff, production methods is very important, because by improving your production methods, you may be able to produce more garments per hour, which is far more profitable. You may be able to operate with fewer people, which adds money to the bottom line. You can deliver things potentially faster, which might give you the edge for the competition. So there's a lot of good reasons to go through this exercise.
Yeah, and also the part of what we had said in the beginning was delivering products correctly and on time.
Yeah.
So, it could also improve your accuracy, reduce the amount of mistakes you're making by having a process flow for that.
Yep.
If you listen to the episode with Mark Bolitnikoff,
Oh, yeah.
what number was that?
I don't remember. But he's got a beautiful shop.
70s, 80s.
Yeah.
He gives a
Yeah.
lot of information. It's somewhere in the 70s or
Yeah.
80s, but it's with Mark Bolitnikoff, and we talked about T-shirt shop, and he kind of just says some basic things which aren't that groundbreaking or amazing. It's not like he invented
It's not new,
something,
but it is good.
But
Yep.
it's doing things right, which makes him run a fantastic business.
Agreed.
Now,
While we
you're gonna look
talk,
it up,
I'm going
right?
to look it up because
I'm going
it's
to
really
talk
important.
about something else when you look it up.
Yep.
So. Removing a product offering could be restructuring your business. So I put an example here. You might offer engraving, and that's how you started your business. And then you added a bunch of other stuff. You do a bunch of apparel, and you still kind of do that engraving. But the machine you have is from 1993. It breaks a bunch. It doesn't work very well. It's really slow. It's not very efficient. You're
Yep.
not getting that many jobs from them. They're taking up a bunch of time. You don't make that much money on them. It might be time to cut that loose and
Yeah.
just say, I'm not going to do that anymore and focus more time on the things that are more profitable for my business.
You should absolutely do that because it's a triage that we should do more at ColDesi and Coleman and Company.
Mm-hmm.
There are things that just take up space in the warehouse and they don't sell anymore, or you've got an emotional attachment to a set of products because you've always sold it,
Yeah.
or you've got 3 customers that are left that have been buying it for 15 years. But it caused you a lot of extra effort and money tied up in inventory. So taking a fresh look at that is a great move.
Yeah, and there's plenty of organizations that are like that started with something, and that's where they are, and they hated to let it go, but they just knew it was the time. They weren't prepared to do that. Do you have an episode number yet?
It is episode 86.
Okay.
What success looks like in DTG printing and more.
Okay, episode 86 then.
Yeah.
So check that one out if you are interested in that production method.
Yep.
Episode. Hopefully, if you're listening to this episode, you've listened to them in sequential order.
Yes.
But we know that.
That never happens.
Yeah, and
No.
I don't necessarily do that either, but it's a great idea to listen to them all. So let's see. So removing a product offering, and then it could be changing your pricing structure.
Right.
So focusing on pricing that can help you bring in smaller orders or larger orders, or something within a different range, or rather than having a fixed pricing, you have some sort of dynamic pricing, or the other way around.
Yeah.
But you can look at your competition, what they're doing when you've done the analysis. I'm losing my pen here.
Yeah.
And you might make a decision to say, like, my pricing just doesn't line up with the way other people do it. Maybe it's more confusing.
Yep.
You can make some changes to that. So these are all things you could do to
Yeah.
restructure.
Now I just want to say that's not to say that you're looking for ways to charge less.
Yeah.
You may be looking for ways to charge more
Yep.
to set yourself apart.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. The pricing structure might just be you're going to create a better quality garment, and you're
Yep.
going to be more expensive. And then in your branding, you're going to go
You
ahead and
move your
push
brand
forward,
upscale.
move your brand more upscale.
That's great.
Put in your logo or your branding, some subtext of premium T-shirts only.
Yeah.
So that there's
Not,
too many.
Not that cheap stuff the other guy sells.
Yeah, there's too many things to really give examples. So, and then you had mentioned going online or focusing locally.
Yeah. So if you have identified, let's say you're in a local market, that's your niche. Is I do business in Tampa, Florida, with people from Tampa, Florida that do Tampa, Florida things.
Yep.
That maybe that local niche is what is getting more and more crowded, and your competitors aren't that great online. So maybe you want to try to develop a more online or e-commerce based business than the local fairs and markets and events business.
Yep.
Vice versa, if you find yourself doing most of your business online and you're getting bigger competition coming in, or area competitors that are beefing up their websites and might be affecting your business, then you may decide to do something more local, like hiring a local salesperson or doing those shows.
And the part of restructuring, which we didn't, which goes along with that, which we didn't make notes on, but would be how you do marketing or advertising could be completely restructured.
Absolutely.
You've always done the penny saver ad, and
Yep.
now you're going to move to Facebook.
Yeah.
Or you've been doing Google ads for a long time, and it's getting more and more expensive,
It
and
is.
you've never tried anything local. So
Yeah.
you decide to jump into the community, newspaper type.
Yeah,
ads.
so I mean, you can see restructuring is a pretty big category,
Yeah.
and can take a lot of things. That's why doing the work in episode 96, so you have specific things you have to deal with, has got to be the approach, because you don't want to change all of these things at the same time and not know what's working. You want to be strategic about what you're doing to make sure that you're responding to actual market conditions that affect your business.
Yeah, and I remember we were at a podcast event, and there was a gentleman talking about how it was him and he had a co-host, and they did a podcast together, and they were doing okay, but their visions were so different. The podcast was conflicted in itself and its branding and where it was going to go, and they decided to part ways and go on their own, and then success came so much higher. So maybe it is even you work with a team of people, or you have some business partners with different visions, and you say, let's partner togetger, do our own thing. Yeah.
Are you breaking up with me? Is that what's happening here?
I'm just giving you the warning.
Okay. I guess I got to start working out again. I got to start working out again.
So the last one now, reinvesting.
Okay.
Put some money into your business to revamp it. Take some profits that you've got, put it back into your business. If you don't have a big swell of cash handy, then use your credit worthiness to lease or finance some new equipment, or make some upgrades to your shop. You know, if you and this reinvesting. Reasons to reinvest, just like everything else, reasons to be. You just got old, broke down, slow equipment.
Yeah, guess what? Almost, except for embroidery machines, right? Which almost last forever.
I've got some embroidery machine examples.
Okay, good. Then like all of this technology advances quite a bit over the years, and you might be in the situation where the equipment you bought 10 years ago just isn't cutting it anymore.
Yeah. And it's true of just everything in the entire, the donut shop example.
Yes.
And it was fine with what they had, but you can go bigger and better and faster, whatever it might be. Or if you've got the things that drive me nuts, or sometimes I'll see some pictures online, and I'm not talking about the CAS group, by the way.
Good.
Or I might be.
Okay.
I don't know, but because I have so many things on Facebook, but I'll see a picture of a shop, and I see this heat press that is just like there's duct tape on it, and there's just like it is just still works, and then complaining about like heat transfer vinyl falling off. And I'm just like, you got to see the writing on the wall here, that just sometimes things get old and broken down, and a delivery company with old trucks eventually has to replace their trucks. They might be fixing them, took care of them well. The trucks treated them well for a long time, but they took those trucks, sold them. They got new ones. They're more efficient on fuel. They can get there faster, more comfortable for the drivers. All those
By
things.
the way, there's a 25% chance that this is the breakup talk that you have.
The old truck.
There's old trucks. They've been around. They did well before, but.
If you find reasons, if you find your equipment is breaking down, if you find that it's much slower than newer equipment is, if the quality of the product coming out, if you've been using the same printer for 8 years and you're getting banding and everything you print and lines, and it doesn't print blue the same way it used to, then you're losing production quality, and you could lose business because of that.
I agree.
Let's see. What else we put in here. You're using a t-shirt transfer, stuff that peaked like in the 80s, and you're still using that technology. The beach t-shirts with the heat press. You're still using that, and
everything has a box.
And nobody really likes that stuff anymore. If you're still loading an embroidery machine with tapes.
No.
There's some people out there still running those machines.
No.
They are. I've talked to them.
Discs, maybe.
Yeah, I've talked to them.
Okay.
Tapes. If you're using a heat press that's got nothing digital on it, there's chances are it's very inaccurate.
I simultaneously agree with this one, and it hurts my feelings.
Okay.
If your computer's running Windows 98.
Yeah.
That is absolutely true. I know you are out there, because we get those calls and support all the time.
What do you mean I can't install the software made in 2019 on
Yeah.
a computer made in 1998.
Because your computer will catch fire if it tries to run.
Yeah. And then, or you don't have anything new to offer or anything different.
Yeah.
And if your competition is kind of outpacing you and you're realizing there's some things you need to change, and nobody out there is doing like bling transfers, like nobody's doing
Yeah.
rhinestones or spangles, or nobody's doing digital transfers or full color designs, then there's a spot for you.
Yeah, I mean, you may
It's waiting
look
for somebody to
when
fill it.
when you do that competitive analysis. If you realize there's that hole there, then that is a great opportunity for you to restructure and to reinvest in a new technology that your market demands that nobody's doing well.
Yeah.
You know, if there is somebody doing glitter vinyl and a decent business with a Cricut from their house, then maybe you need a Spangle Elite or a CAMS machine so you can produce commercial quality spangle and rhinestone transfers, and you'll just blow the doors off the market.
Yeah.
You know, faster, cheaper, better, etc. So
Yeah.
there may be that opportunity where you are.
Exactly, and you know we're in the equipment business, but so obviously we're going to be for
We
that.
want you to buy more things. I'm just going to say it. Buy more things.
We
if you
do,
would.
but the reason, what's exciting about it is you see, like before we were talking about that embroidery business that got DTG and UV, and then
Yeah.
now this is their thing, is that when you business owners that do particularly well look for opportunities when
Yeah.
they want to grow and change and succeed and stay relevant. They look for these opportunities, and if you've got an opportunity to, for one, just fix something that's broken, or an opportunity in the market where nobody is doing this, or there's only one person doing it, and they're only focusing on spirit wear.
Yeah.
And I do corporate wear, and there's opportunity for this technology here. Then it's your opportunity to jump on that.
We're going to call that the only donut shop in town strategy.
Okay. Yeah.
If you sell bagels and there are 10 bagel shops in town, be the only donut shop. Right? It's a
Yeah.
similar business, and you can make a crap load of money because you've got some exclusivity. You focused in an area that technology isn't. So it's kind of the same thing. I really like that idea of finding a hole in the market and filling it in the way you just described.
Yeah, and we have across America, it's a huge place.
Yep.
And we still have people, 2019, that will call us up and say, there's actually nobody really in our town or in our direct area that does embroidery.
It's crazy.
Even in some reasonable sized
Yeah,
cities.
yeah.
And they say, yeah, I'm in a suburb of Chicago area, and the next embroiderer is like it's only 8 miles away, but 8 miles in our area
It's
is like
forever.
45 minutes.
Yeah.
And I think there's an opportunity for business here. And they saw that.
Yeah.
And maybe they just had an award shop. And
Man.
they realize that, and they're reinvesting in their company because they're realizing maybe their awards are slowing down.
Yep.
They're not getting what they used to. They see an opportunity to do embroidery, and they jump in on it,
Yeah.
and they reinvest it in an opportunity.
I like all that. Man, I think like 96 and 97, these two, do I say this on every episode?
I don't know.
Not every episode. I think it's some of our most valuable episodes.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. And the final thought I think on it then is, whatever you're going to do with this, you've got to make a plan out of it.
Yep.
We talk about that all the time. It doesn't need to be formal or anything like that, but put some things in writing, do a little bit of math, see what makes sense. And if the decision looks right on paper,
Yeah.
and you're like, I got a feeling for this, and I'm looking at it on the paper, the numbers make sense.
Yeah.
That you go for it.
Right.
Whatever it might be, even if whether it's rebranding, restructuring, reinvesting, or all three.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
And I want you to just keep a picture in your head of Carnation breakfast bars.
So if you go to the Custom Apparel Startups website, you will get a free look at a Carnation breakfast bar box.
Right,
No charge.
which
You
most
get
of
to
you
look.
probably have never seen.
Yes, you get to see what that
I wish
looks
I
like.
could give you a prize if you've ever had a can of Carnation instant
You can
milk.
give somebody a prize.
I could, but I'm not going to.
Okay. Well,
All right, everybody. I think this has been a useful episode. As usual, we would like to encourage you to share it. Please review us on iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And, hey, come to the customapparelstartups.com site and you'll see a video of the antics that we get into when you're just listening to us. Okay.
Do we have a episode 98? You had mentioned.
We do. There is at least going to be one more of these, and I can't remember what it is.
Okay,
right now.
good then. Well, we've got episode 100 coming up. Wow. We can do something big?
I think we are.
Okay. There's no plan for that at this point in time.
No.
But
Maybe we'll just wander around the building and interview employees.
Okay.
That sounds
could be
good.
fun.
Okay.
All right. So send your ideas and your carnation breakfast bars to Mark Stevenson, ColDesi.
All right, guys. Thanks very much. Do you have any final comments
we're
or words?
good.
Okay, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
All right. This has been Mark Stevenson from ColDesi.
And Mark Vila from Coleman & Company.
You guys have a great business.